Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Cherry Guys podcast. I'm joined with none other than
R.S. Vaughan.
and this time our special guest.
What is wrong with you? Just keep going. Keep going.
Okay. Our special guest, Miles, ladies and gentlemen. Miles CyXato, you may know him on Twitter as the terrorist of music Twitter. Personally, in my eyes, he's a terrorist
MTT.
to my well-being and to everything I stand and live for. But yes.
That's really mean, bro. Like,
yeah, man.
Treat your guests with some respect, bro.
We're here joined with Miles. Miles, what's going on, bro?
Not much. I worked a 5-hour shift at Panera today. I'm chilling.
Panera, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, if you need a Panera hookup, go to Miles. He got you.
I can make a good-ass bacon turkey bravo.
There you go. Whatever that is, he can make it for you. But anyways, we're not here to talk about Panera. We're here to talk music. And last week, we had a pretty healthy Friday, I'd say. Starting off the year strong. A good first week into 2022. And we got ourselves a nice drop. There was 2 albums that dropped significantly. Gunna's DS4. But that's not the album we're here to talk about.
Mm-mm.
This week, we're here to talk about The Weeknd's Dawn FM.
Dawn FM.
And I'm just gonna open the floor to Vaughan for this one.
Oh, thank you. Oh my God.
Yes.
I've been waiting for this. I
was hoping I would get the floor for this album.
Go ahead.
And now I have the floor. Okay.
You have the floor.
So I'm gonna just come out right off the bat. I enjoyed this album, but there's a lot of things wrong with it. It's a fun album, okay? I especially like the first half. The production throughout is very nice. One O Tricks Point Never production, like he basically carries this album for me. Like his stuff on here is really beautiful. And the main problem with this album though is just like it's every song sounds the same. And 2, Weeknd's songwriting is like really weak here, man. Like it's like compared to After Hours and all of his best work, like where he has like really memorable hooks and like really creative just songwriting, and this album is just not it. Like he got all these great beats and I feel like he just went autopilot on them. So like even the best songs here, like I really enjoy, they're really fun, but the worst songs are like really just like boring, uninspired, bland. And it's definitely a mixed bag. So that's my general thoughts.
I'm gonna bounce off of you and then we can hand it over to Miles. I'm gonna agree with that. Yes, I actually agree with like practically every point you gave. The only one I don't agree with is the fact that every song sounds the same.
I mean, not exactly, but like
yeah, no, that's understandable because I listened to this album 4 times. Okay. And I upon first listen, I was like, wow, that went through one ear and out the other. I didn't care for this.
Yeah.
But then I re-listened again and I was like, okay, I think I was being a little bit too harsh. I re-listened again because here's the thing. And this is my biggest issue with The Weeknd across all of his albums. He presents us with a concept to his albums, but they're so loose and they're barely connected. It's just the only thing that the concept serves for is so that he can have an aesthetic to each album. But and with this album, like I went to go talk to people and I was like, what's this album about? They were like, oh yes, supposedly it's about like a radio station in purgatory and The Weeknd is like learning to overcome. I'm like, where did you hear this? Were we listening to the same album? And I listened to the same 4 times, and by the 4th listen, I was like, I don't even care about the concept anymore. I'm giving up on the concept. I'm just going to enjoy the songs for what they are. And I think for the most part, it's a pretty good album. It just, Vaughan is completely right in the sense that it has a lot of things, a lot of room to be desired. And especially, someone brought to my attention, I was reading some reviews, the whole radio station thing, literally One Tricks Point Never did that last year, or 2 years ago with his album.
I mean, the One O Tricks influence is very present here, especially because
it carries the project. Yeah,
it carries the project because it's really like his contributions are some of the only unique things about the album. Like even some of the good songs are just not unique at all. Like it's been done before. Here, Miles.
Yeah, like everyone's. Okay, yeah, go ahead, Miles.
Right, so I did not like it. Like I'll first listen. Like Anthony said, it went one ear, not the other. I didn't remember really anything except maybe a few songs that stuck out. But like, I mean, Gasoline right off the bat, like that was Asoline, bro. Like that, I don't know. Like I heard that voice and I don't know what he was doing there, man.
I kind of like that song.
I actually
but-
like that song.
Yeah.
I like that song
I
a lot.
did not like it. And then, but like, I don't know, songs like Take My Breath, like obviously that song's great. And then like, Less Than Zero was fire. But like, I don't know, man, that little Wayne verse and like I don't know, even Tyler didn't really stick out too much.
Lil Wayne verse.
Do you not
Lil
remember?
Wayne verse was great. He literally
Oh.
He
clears
was like the
Tyler, I
best
think.
part of the album, bro.
But, like,
That was
I don't know
not.
if the- I don't
What
know
is
about the
wrong
best
with
part,
you, bro? What? How, bro?
Jim.
Oh my
I
God.
think Jim
This kid
Carrey
Miles-
is the best part.
No. What? Okay. We gotta have some discussion to
I
be
prefer
had
Morgan
here,
Freeman,
bro.
I'm trolling.
but-
We have some discussion to be had here, bro.
But
Look, I think it's easy to say that Lil Wayne easily did better than Tyler.
I don't.
I really
This is Tyler's
Really?
worst feature I've ever heard. I'm just gonna say that. It's not
Yeah.
it's not like terrible, but it's so boring
fit.
and
it's
like
underwhelming.
uninspired.
It's underwhelming.
It's not memorable at all. It doesn't fit at all. It
Yeah,
feels
yeah.
like The Weeknd just said like, "Who's two artists I really like? Let me get this on, get
Yeah,
them
like, he didn't
on this
even-
album." And they don't fit the
Yeah.
songs at all. What I will say about Lil Wayne is that song is boring until he comes in. He breathes a whole new life
Mhm.
into it. And then
Oh,
when I
for
hear
sure.
his verse, I just want to hear that beat with him rapping for 3 minutes. Like,
Yeah,
wanna
and
hear
here's
the
the thing. That is the worst song on the album for me personally. And
Really?
it can't even be saved by Lil Wayne. Yes, because The Weeknd's chorus on it is so obnoxious and annoying. In fact, when you
I
look
can
at the
see
average
that.
ratings, that's like I think like the lowest one.
Oh yes.
I can't stand that song simply because the Weeknd songwriting on there is so obnoxious. I just don't like that song at all. But I think there's a lot of things on here that have a lot of merit to it. But actually, something interesting that someone pointed out is that the Weeknd barely ever collabs with other singers. He only
Yeah.
does rappers on his projects, and I think like what the person had said was that like it's because that Weeknd's afraid he can get outshined. Because like look at Tyler. Tyler can sing to some degree, but he doesn't. I think his if he contributed by singing, it would have been a lot better than if he just rapped. Because
it
his
would have been
rapping
at
here-
least a lot more interesting.
yeah, his rapping here is underwhelming, and it doesn't fit at all.
It doesn't.
I do not want to hear Tyler on synthy ass beats. I want to hear him on
Well,
like,
not that
some
type of
organic-
not that
synthy-ass
type of
beat.
Tyler.
that type of
Not
yeah,
really.
that,
Like
like
he-
80s.
He's on
80s,
synthy
yeah,
ass beats
synth
all
pop.
the time. Not that.
Yeah,
type
some
of
like
beat.
synth pop. Yeah, exactly.
He
just
should have
wasn't-
got Depeche Mode on here, like or like.
Low key, like that would have been
Maybe,
fire, bro.
maybe, yeah. And then you're gonna just Quincy Jones didn't do anything other than an interlude on here. Like,
Yeah, that
Story,
was just-
That wasn't.
That was just pointless because really his story was like, okay, how's this tie into the album? And then it tied in with like the last sentence of the story, and I'm like,
I
okay.
mean, it's better than Gasoline, but
no,
You
come
a
on.
hater,
The
bro.
gasoline, hate
Gasoline-
needs to stop.
Okay,
Gasoline is
Gasoline's not that great, but I actually like the vocal inflection because I was
dope. Yeah,
just
I do too.
like I was just starving for like unique aspects of this album, like because like the worst part of this album is just how bland some of the songs
Yes,
are, and at
like-
least Gasoline's doing something like somewhat unique
that's
in the
fair.
context of
I'll
the album.
listen to that again. But like Best Friends through Don't Break My Heart, like I don't remember anything about those songs.
I mostly agree.
Like I listened to this
Yeah,
twice.
There's, like,
but,
one
song
there,
but like
but-
those songs, I don't recall anything from. I remember.
Yeah,
the
like,
first
One of
The
my
f-
favorite tracks though, I agree with you, but one of my favorite tracks is There's Someone Else, because that beat,
Yeah, that
I don't
beat's
know if you
great.
remember.
Yeah.
it's like the vaporwave style one. It's like OPN,
Yeah.
like it just comes in. It's like really cool,
That's
bro.
true. Okay, that
Yeah.
sounds memorable.
And that's
yeah.
that's an example of like, I don't remember what The Weeknd did at all on that song, to be honest, but the beat is like really really good. So
yeah,
makes me
and,
kinda-
and that's the unfortunate part about the Weeknd,
Yeah.
that like he can bring a lot to songs, and he has. Like think about like a Starboy project. A lot of Weeknd fans
Starboy
don't
is
like that album,
fire.
Starboy's
but
great.
I like Starboy a lot because
Starboy and
the-
After Hours is probably my favorite Weeknd album, and I think it
Yeah.
has like some of
Yeah,
the
that's
most
it's my
memorable
favorite.
hooks and stuff. So after
Yeah,
after that, this is like pretty disappointing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
no, and Go ahead, Miles.
I agree. Like I was honestly, I like when I heard that single "Take My Breath," I loved it, and like after I heard that little snippet, I thought this honestly could be bet top after hours. Like if it was to that quality, so like it was pretty disappointing. Like
Yeah, no.
not
Yeah.
enjoying it, but
And it's funny that now that we bring it up, because now I just realized Daft Punk did a good amount of production on Starboy. I don't know about After Hours, but I'm pretty sure someone
No, they did like 2
OPN.
songs on Starboy. And then LPN did like
Oh.
1 song on After Hours. And he did like half of this album at least. Like,
No, he
but-
did over half. He's literally not on 2 songs as a producer
Oh,
or
really?
a writer or keyboards.
so he was like in
Yeah.
there close with him
Yeah,
on this
the
album.
entirety,
Yeah.
and it shows because of like how good OPN's sound is. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm okay with the 80s like retro stuff, but if
Yeah.
the Weeknd's not going to present anything new or nuanced within this throwback, then who cares?
And-
then I can go back to
like
a Michael Jackson.
or Tory
you know?
Lanez
Yeah.
album, for example. Like,
What?
I mean,
what?
Trolling.
You got to stop trolling.
He has,
Okay.
This kid probably hasn't even listened to this album, bro. Like,
Yeah, no, for real. But no, seriously, like
no.
when you bring it up, like yeah, I had to actually go and re-listen to Is There Someone Else right when you mentioned it to realize, yeah, that beat is good.
The
But, like,
beat is
in the
awesome, and then the
Yeah.
more you listen to the song, it's like, okay, this is just
he does
missing
nothing
me.
yet because he does nothing with
But
it.
it's still fine. It's still like I still really enjoyed the song, but it's just like it's just disappointing because he gets such a good foundation and production and really good aesthetic. Like this aesthetic is like you can do a lot within it, and it's really commercially viable as well. And he just doesn't do anything interesting with it.
Yeah, at least the album ends off with a good note with Less Than Zero. I actually do kind of like
that
that
song's
song.
fire. That's
I have a
like,
hot take.
Yeah,
That
hot
is
take.
the worst song by far, bro.
Oh,
I do not like that song.
What?
Okay.
No,
You're telling me you will take, bro? Come on,
it's not good, bro.
how? I don't understand.
That's just like what you were saying. He sounds obnoxious, bro.
What?
Like he just sounds bad.
I don't
on
think
it.
I don't think
And
he sounds
and
obnoxious.
That's
on
like
that song.
the most bland instrumental as well. It's like really annoying. to me.
That's fair. I still think it is leaving things off on a good note.
And it's
with
not a
the
horrible
other-
song, but
It's-
like it's
I
it's
kind
kind
of
of like it's kind of like the epitome of this album and like all the things wrong with this album for me.
Well, I agree
That's
that
fair.
I agree that it's like probably the most bland like production on that song, but like or like beat in general, but like I don't know. I think he does the most interesting stuff with his voice on that, honestly. Other than
I think the best thing he does vocally is probably "Take My Breath," just because that's like
Yeah,
the
that too,
catchiest
that too.
song.
Yeah, take my
Everything
The way that
else I
fades
only
in,
I
like,
only remember for like
God,
the beat.
like the things they
Every
do
other
with his
song.
voice on "Take My Breath," like the way they like put the effects
Yeah.
on that shit. Like, oh, it's so good. Why can't I don't she just stuck with that? But like,
I mean, honestly, my favorite song. Well, I guess we're not good. I guess. Do we want to move into favorite songs or we're
Are we done? Like
I mean, are there any more thoughts? Because like, like I said, my biggest gripes are just the concept is weak, and the
Oh.
Weeknd is not doing enough new stuff.
I do want
Oh, what's
to
up?
like conceptually, like I've never really cared about concepts in a Weeknd album, so that didn't really bother me. But it's
Yeah.
kind of funny seeing like people freak out over the concept, even though it's like such a basic
not really.
concept.
It's
Yeah,
It's
it's really nuanced.
no
yeah.
disrespect to the concept because it's a cool concept, but it's really basic.
It's
like
very
it's not
Yeah.
new. Like this
No.
is not the first time someone's treating
A
an album like a
radio-
radio station.
a radio.
You can just listen to an actual radio mix and
That's-
you get a
yeah,
similar
true.
experience.
Literally a feature on the album. Tyler has done a radio type album.
You
where,
can-
like Flower Boy has like a bunch of
Yeah,
songs
that's
where it's like
true.
a
That's
radio
that's true. There's
station.
a little that's not like a full as
It's not
as
yeah,
in depth
like a
as this
full
Well,
album.
there's like
but-
four
Everything.
songs. There's like 4 songs on there that throw back the whole radio
Really?
thing. But yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
I guess you're right. It's
But
not
no,
as
and-
it's not as direct as this album though.
yeah.
So
And I get you with not wanting to care for the concept, but when he's gonna present this aesthetic and he's doing this kind of rollout where it's like, ooh, this entire step into this new world, I'm like, okay, what is the world presenting me with? If you're gonna take over 4 tracks to give to concept, to conceptualize the album, then give me something. But I'm not giving anything.
I feel you.
One track, what's that one track that's like just an ad? That track is so unnecessary.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
one of my least favorites too
I think
because
that's
it's
the
so
Every Angel's Terrifying.
Every Angel is terrifying.
like
I don't need it.
if you've ever maybe it's cool to mainstream listeners and I don't want to be that guy but like if you've ever listened to like OPN's solo work or like James Ferrero or something. Like you've
Yeah,
heard
literally
this
like a lot
a
of
million
vaporwave
times
artists in
before.
general. Like literally any
Yeah.
Molsoft album, you can just
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I actually do agree there. But no, and that's the thing. Like the production is what makes me want to keep coming back to this album, and the weekend is just kind of like background, like someone humming along
Yeah,
to it. I'm like,
it's
okay, that's
really
fine.
like I really enjoy the album, but it's not
Yeah,
something I'm ever gonna
yeah.
return
It's
to
it's
and
not
look
something
back
I want to
at
return
as
to.
like a really
Yeah,
great album because like the weekend's so weak on it.
yeah.
It's really
He has
disappointing.
such a good voice, and it's like, and these are such good beats, but like the way it's used just does not fit. I don't even think.
yeah.
I don't think it
No,
fits that
there's
well
seriously
either. Like
just
honestly.
yeah. No, there's just
It's
some
just like
songs
a
where he just
big.
lets the beat right out. Yeah,
I wish he did that more, bruh. like
yeah.
like he's just not
I
doing anything of substance on it for me.
Yeah, but even then, the weekend not doing anything of substance is still somewhat pretty good, I think, because
Yeah,
I'm
that's the
still gonna
thing.
hold to that.
That's like the
I'm
bottom line for me is like it's still
yeah,
pretty good. It's still a fun
hmm
album. It's just not
yeah,
it's nothing it's definitely not one of his best projects and it's definitely not anything that I'm going to remember and look back at as like something special.
Yeah, it's just
absolutely.
really forgettable, honestly. I mean, and
Mhm.
with it being
Yeah.
released in January, a lot of January projects kind of get forgotten anyways by the end of the year. I feel like. So like, I don't think
Oh
that
yeah,
contributes really at all. I think that's just gonna.
yeah. I think only
Yeah.
diehard fans are taking this with
Yeah, I
them
feel like
into the next coming months.
by the end of the year, I'm probably gonna forget it even came out. Honestly, but
Yeah, but all right, let's move into favorite tracks.
Yeah.
Vaughn, give me your top three.
Top 3, we didn't touch on this track, but Out of Time is my favorite. It's the one
No,
that sounds
I
like
said that that's my favorite. I said that
Oh,
that's my
really?
favorite track.
Okay. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the one that sounds like human behavior kind of. For
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
a really beautiful instrumental. Is There Someone Else and Take My Breath.
Okay. Miles, give me your top three.
probably take my breath. Less than zero, and I guess sacrifice. Probably yeah, sacrifice is fire.
That's pretty
Okay.
good. Yeah, I kind of like those picks. I'm gonna go with Out of Time. Give me Is There Someone Else, and then give me Gasoline. Like I
All right.
genuinely like Gasoline.
Yeah, I like Gasoline a lot.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, the weekend, unfortunately, first weekend of January. Come on, weekend.
We
Where
got
you
Gunna
at, bro?
though. We got Gunna though.
You
So.
can do better.
We had Gunna, but we're not gonna talk about Gunna. But big shout outs to Gunna though.
Shouts out to Gunna.
Go listen to
Yeah,
Gunna.
Saying.
what we are going to talk about is our Twitter picked album. So big shout outs to
Shout out to
Naga.
Twitter who picked this like
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ellie.
Yeah,
picked
Ellie,
this like
shout out
3
to
weeks
Ellie.
ago or something. Like we've been
almost 3 weeks ago. Had a little controversy there. We're not going to talk about it. But yep.
Yeah,
Big shout outs to Ellie. And the album that we're going to be discussing is none other than DJ Sprinkle's Midtown 120 Blues.
Fire.
Now, we gave it to Vaughn, so I think I'm going to start it off talking about it because I want to save the last album for Miles.
Yep.
I just want to say this is a house music masterpiece. I don't think there's anything short of it when it comes to this album. The absolute sound that it has. I mean, look at that. It's right there on my wall. I absolutely love this album.
Right there.
Everything it stands for. This is how you do how you tell a story within an album comparative to that of the Weeknd's, because the story it tells in this album of what Madonna did to the house scene, to the queer LGBTQ scene, and kind of ripping off voguing and all that stuff. This tells me so much more than whatever the Weeknd was trying to do with his concept, and it's only done in short spurts, very short spurts. I think there's only like 3 times it does it, but it tells me so much more. And it's so unique because there are very few house albums that I think actually tell a story and or concept that I can think of off the top of my head. I could be completely wrong. There'll be
You're
someone
probably
who, like,
wrong.
yeah,
But yeah.
I'm most definitely wrong. But off the top of my head, this is the only one that I can think of. But bar none, I think that the 3 things all these albums share in common right now are atmosphere. And I think this one holds a torch to our last album that we're going to discuss.
Oh yes.
But,
Okay, well, don't. Come on.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it, but I think for the most part, I have so many amazing things I want to say about this album, but I want to make sure I don't take up too much time. So I'm gonna pass it to Miles to talk about it a little bit.
I love this album.
Yeah,
It's a good one.
yeah,
It's incredible.
I love it. Yeah,
It's one of my favorites. No, but yeah, the whole atmosphere. Like honestly, I don't know. It's really smooth. It's really
hmm
calm. Like
yeah,
honestly, I guess somewhat of like an aquatic. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's like blue, but
A
some
little
of the
bit.
sounds kind of be a little aquatic, and it's like I don't know. The sampling
Yeah.
on it, like on I don't know, like Sisters. I don't know what this world's coming to. Like every time it says that, and then it just like kind of just a smooth beat. I don't know. It's crazy.
yeah.
Like
No, I 100% agree with you.
I
Yeah,
remember where I was like the first time I heard it too. It's like I don't know. It's crazy.
I don't remember where I was actually.
I was probably in my room.
I
I was probably laying
was I
down.
was playing
Yeah.
Dishonored 2 in my basement.
you say
There you
you
go.
say I remember who it was, like you were on like a beach or something, like beautiful, like
Yeah,
no,
I
you were
was
and
just
then
playing
right
the
video
here,
games. Okay.
right here.
no. Okay, okay.
Okay, bro.
Well,
Fair enough.
good for you. Yeah, that's good for
Yeah.
you. But Vaughn, what is your takeaways
So
from
yeah,
Tell and
I
Tell?
also love this album. I mean, how could you not really?
Yeah,
It's a house masterpiece, but also the biggest thing for me and the thing I love so much about this album is that the atmosphere completely overtakes the beats. Like usually in
oh
a
yeah,
house album, the beats are the most important thing, at least to me, and that's the driving force of the song. In this album, it's just completely flipped on its head, and most of the songs, the atmosphere just completely overtakes it. There's even like a full ambient track on here, and like an ambient outro to one of the songs, and just like the ambiance of the album is really what has me coming back to it, and all the layers of instrumentation and sounds and samples, like it's just a really beautiful experience. And also the beats are really good too, though. So I don't want to
yeah,
understate that, but they're just
yeah,
like just focusing on the panning and effects going on, and is just like that's when I get the most out of this album, and it's just
yeah.
really crazy, crazy.
And that's the thing. I think I honestly have kind of been lacking on like looking into deep house, and I wanted to go into so
Mm-hmm.
much more deep house because like the four to the floor beats here are like they're obviously not the focus. What DJ
Yeah, yeah.
Sprinkles wants you to focus on is that like the sounds around you, like for instance that beautiful sound that goes around your head on house music is a controllable desire you can own. Like I just absolutely love a project like that, and I think it so encapsulates like looking into the sky on a cloudy gray day right before it's about to rain. Like
Well, I
that's
think
what
it
I get
really
from this album.
encapsulates her whole story with the album, and that's what
Yeah,
makes it better than like the Weeknd's concept album, is because she's not just telling the story through her words. I mean, every song captures the same feeling or like a different feeling at each song, but every
yeah,
song represents that angst and the club scene and all the feelings that were going through her mind, and that's like the most beautiful part for me, is just like
yeah.
feeling
No,
that.
I love that. I love that
Yeah.
like kind of image you painted. Like it's truly just like her writing her feelings into these beats and into these grooves because the rhythm here is still so good that you can easily follow it. But the mixing of all the beautiful sounds on here
Yeah.
just allow it so that you can just move and listen to all this beautiful shit that's playing in your ears.
Yeah.
I'm so passionate about this album because it's jarring to me at times how just like how much it takes you off of your feet and like you just float in kind of the water to it because I do like Miles. It does kind of feel aquatic at times. The
Yeah.
way it's so it sounds kind of muddled, so
Yeah,
it feels
yeah.
like you're underwater, you know. And I
Yeah.
Like
love that. I love every description you guys have given so far. I agree with.
and a lot of deep
Um,
house I feel like can't sometimes it's not always a detail and it's pretty one dimensional. I feel like I love most deep house I've
oh yeah,
heard, but like sometimes it really can just be pretty one note. But like all the shit she adds on this like in the background that you can just like you'll pick up every listen. It's just like it's crazy. It really is just
Hmm.
yeah.
atmospheric. I mean that's honestly the best word to describe it. Really, it's like
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, and I have no problem with it being like some songs being like 10 minutes,
or
some
12
songs being
minutes.
like
Yeah,
12 minutes. Like yeah, Grand Central Part One. I have no problem
Oh
with it as
yeah,
12
the my
minutes.
favorite songs are usually the longer ones, like because you just get to
Yeah,
feel the atmosphere even more.
And it just like
You
progresses like
you
slowly but surely, and then it's
Oh
like
yeah,
just like someone
the
comes in and
progression of the songs on this album, like the way some songs build and collapse and like build layers and shit is just like masterful. So,
and it
yeah
flows so
no
well. Like
hmm
it doesn't
hmm
stop. Like it's just one after another. Like I don't know.
yeah like it's just like a great like world building almost because I feel like I'm there in that warehouse that she's talking about. I'm there at that club just listening to the music and like following the beats of the night and just kind of like living in the world she is presenting to me. It's just fantastic. Like, oh my goodness. I don't know. They killed
yeah,
it with this project. Like I don't know. I'm actually like that's the thing. I'm like speechless sometimes just thinking about this album because it just overtakes you as a listener. And the cover I don't think gets enough
Oh,
props.
it's one
It's
of
an
the best
amazing
covers
cover.
ever. I think it's one of the best
Yeah,
covers
it's
ever.
it's an
fire for
amazing
sure.
cover. No, I
Legend.
absolutely love it. To the point where I want to hang it on my wall. Like, it's just a fantastic cover. But yeah, no, and ah man, this album is just something. Seriously, this album is something. You know.
It really is.
Yeah, but now
Pretty
I
beautiful.
guess let's get into some.
Damn,
Was there anyone else that anyone wants to say about it?
I mean, no, I
Miles.
guess I agree. It is one of the, I. It's like top three houses for me probably. Like I don't know,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I think it's influential. It's definitely influential to like more of the underground house scene. I feel like because like
hmm
I hear it in a lot of deep house that I've heard from like the 2010s and so on. Like I guess kind of what her sound was, but like changed a little bit.
The more atmospheric approach where the beat is not the emphasis. Like,
Yeah, because I didn't hear that much before. Because when you think of house, when you think of Discovery, which the Discovery, I mean,
okay,
it's
yeah,
more of
that's
a
a whole different
yeah, true.
subgenre and scene. But I, it is interesting. This album makes me want to dive more into house's history because maybe the deep house you're thinking of and that we've listened to from before this album is the vocal bullshit that she was talking about. So
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
we gotta dive into that underground and like the true scene and what was really happening.
because like
Yeah. No,
honestly,
there.
it makes me think of AL90 a lot. Like if anyone's heard them, like
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know that's one of your favorite albums.
yeah,
It's
it's one of my it's
mhm.
like one of the best house albums I've ever heard, and it's just like they sample vocals in a way similar to Sprinkles, and it's like I don't know, it's just really atmospheric as well, and it doesn't focus so much on the beats and more on the atmosphere, like so
yeah,
I definitely see influence there.
Yeah, and there's so much to take away from that opening kind of speech that she does on the intro. Um, like the whole house is not universal, house is hyper specific. It's just crazy. Like she had such it feels like this is something someone would make after they'd had like an epiphany or some sort of like self-discovering kind of I like thing going on with them because I don't know, like I don't know, this is just one of those things that it's like how do you come up with this, how do you make something like this? And oh my goodness,
hmm
I don't know, it's just I love the way this album grooves. It's so rich and so detailed
And like
that I could listen to it forever.
here, I don't know what it is, but like something about that like first piano note on like when you click play on it, like just that first piano note on the song,
Yeah.
something about that just feels it's
Oh
crazy.
yeah.
yeah.
Like I don't know
Yeah, and
what about it is, but
the beeping is I guess like her starting the recording, I guess, because it goes dun and then the boo. Like I guess that's like her starting the record. I know I sound goofy, but like yeah. Oh my goodness, this whole album and to think it's only 10 songs, yet it's practically like over an
it's
hour.
like a
Like
movie.
Yeah, it's like 70
Literally.
yeah,
minutes.
yeah. It's like 78 minutes, I believe.
Damn.
It's just so crazy, but I think I don't know. I feel like we're all kind of floored and speechless with it because this is something that can leave you floored and speechless if you're like a big electronic fan. I don't see how any electronic fan could go into this and not like it and not get something
Yeah,
out of
yeah,
it or
yeah,
enjoy it
Oh
for sure.
yeah, I
because
agree.
like I said, the rhythm and groove here is unmatched. Like I think that there are some artists who may do the groove better, but this one is the most addicting
Well,
to
it
me
does it
personally.
in a very unique way.
It does it in a
So
very unique way that doesn't leave you
at the
bored.
very
Because the
least,
thing
yeah.
is, without without vocals, without all that stuff, she is leaving herself up to in the potential of making something extremely soulless. But luckily,
And
she
it's like
doesn't.
the
Because think about
complete
it.
opposite, right?
Yeah.
And
Exactly,
that's
it's the
that's the
complete opposite.
whole
It's
yeah,
rich.
that's
It's
like the
rich.
whole thesis of this album is that you don't need the vocals, and the vocal bullshit is just like they're just trying to reach more people, and ironically they cut out more people.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I genuinely wish this album got its flowers a lot more because I don't think I see this album talked about enough. In all honesty.
it's definitely a little bit not underrated, but definitely like not known by as many people as it should be. So
Yeah. No, and you know what? I think the first time I ever listened to it, I was actually sitting in school. I think the first time I ever hit
hmm
play was I was in school. I was in AP World. So actually, now that I remember it, because I remember it was actually like a grayish day, because that's why I have that like
That's
fond
perfect.
memory in my
Yeah.
head. Yeah. But yeah, no, and like
I
oh my goodness,
it's
the
like
occasional feel good. Oh,
oh yeah. Like some I don't
yeah,
know,
yeah.
but
and just like I hope it gets as big as I mean I don't think it ever will get as big as Discovery one day, but like I don't think it even has honestly the ability to with its like the lack of it being on streaming. I think
No,
that takes away
it
from a
it
lot of
wouldn't
it.
have it because Discovery is just
I
like
mean,
an
yeah, it's Daft
iconic
Punk too,
album.
so yeah, it's like. But also, I
But
do think the lack of streaming does like kind of take
yeah,
it
probably yeah.
like yeah.
they've talked like DJ Sprinkles has talked about like why she hasn't put it on streaming, and just kind of the conundrum that goes on there, why it's not on YouTube, why it's so hard to find, and I suppose that is why
I mean,
it
just
isn't as
listening to the
big.
album, I haven't looked into it, but just listening to the album, I get the vibe that she wouldn't want that. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I respect it for
because she
sure.
doesn't want to commercialize it, and I think that that might be also like another interesting fun thing about the album is that you have to go look for it, you have to
Exactly.
seek out for it,
It's more
and then
personal
when
that
You have
way,
to
I
soul
think.
seek out
yeah,
for it.
yeah,
You have
soul seek out for it, and then when this is the thing that you receive it's like a love letter that someone wrote, and you're reading into it, you're reading someone's diary, and that's kind of what I feel
yeah,
sometimes
like you can
actually,
tell it's really personal to
Beautiful.
her, and that's like, and
yeah,
she
that
definitely
house
cherishes it.
means a lot to her. Yeah, no, it's absolutely fantastic, but I think we should get into some thoughts. So
Some top three tracks.
yeah, Vaughn, oh yeah, my bad, top three tracks, I'm
Some
sorry, I'm
top
so
three
speechless.
tracks.
Vaughn, I want to hear your top three,
My
bro.
top three tracks are my bad. The Occasional Feel Good, probably my
Occasional
favorite.
feel. Yeah.
It has the best beat on there, and it's really euphoric one after all these songs without beats. And second favorite, Grand Central Part 2, which is like just like the best of the atmosphere. And house music is a controllable desire because that's just like I think that's like the fan favorite, and it's deserved.
Yeah. Miles, bro, what you taking?
I don't know if it's a hot take, but at least my favorites for sure. Sisters, I don't know what this world's coming to. I don't know. That song's just gorgeous, and like the
Yeah.
Interesting.
keys in
No,
the
I agree.
back, or the I don't know what it is, but it sounds crazy. And I don't know. Yeah, that's just one of my favorite songs ever, honestly. And then the occasional feel good, and then house music is controllable desire. That's yeah. But they're
Yeah,
not
that
like
yeah, no.
they're not like super above any other song because all songs to me are pretty incredible on their
Yeah,
album. So
I think actually even picking a top three is almost hard for me, but
yeah,
I think I'll manage. I'll pick a top three because honestly,
I hope.
I think my favorite song is probably I might have to go with Baller Madonna Free Zone,
Hmm.
um, Brenda's $20 Dilemma,
I
Oh,
almost picked
um,
that.
and probably Grand Central Part One. I think. But in all honesty, this is a very loose top three because I think like almost weekly I change my top three, um, because it's just something it's something that rides so much on how you were feeling at that time.
And the whole experience of the album,
Yeah,
it's
the
not a
experience as a
album
whole.
where one track just sticks out like that.
Yeah,
literally
it is
almost
something
every
that
song.
is
Yeah,
extremely, yeah, it is extremely cohesive, and I absolutely love that. Despite the fact each track almost sounds so different, it's still very cohesive.
Yeah.
yeah. Every track has
I
its
don't
own
know.
sound. Like
Yeah,
it's hard to
if
put
this
into
album was
words, but like
Yeah, no, for sure. If this album was recommended for like classic album, I would have easily like put it because I think this is a house classic.
But
It's awesome.
It's a house essential.
instead, Miles has picked the classic
Yeah,
album for today,
the classic
and
album.
it's another house classic if you consider it house. It's definitely in that wheelhouse.
It's a future garage
Yeah.
masterpiece.
Burials
Burials
Untrue.
Untrue.
And
Heroes Untrue.
Burials
Yes,
stop
Untrue.
stepping on my feet, bro. I'm gonna give it to you, Miles. I believe. Well, I'll just give you the floor.
Okay, so this album is what they call a Miles find.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
No, it is not.
That's not true.
Ladies and gentlemen, do not listen to that. It is not a Miles
No,
Fire.
Miles
I
did not
recommended
find
this
this
to
album.
Vaughn though. I remember that. I recommended this to Vaughn a
I-
couple years back.
Okay.
But yeah. But this
Vaughn,
is my
can you confirm that actually? Hold on, pause. Vaughn?
I can neither confirm or deny that.
No,
Oh, Lord.
it's true.
Okay.
It's true.
Go ahead, Vaughn.
It's
Go
my
ahead,
favorite
Vaughn.
album.
I already knew about the album, bro. It's on my radar, bro. It's not a Miles find. It's not a Miles find.
It's my favorite album of all time. It has been for a while. It makes me feel things no other music can.
Pause.
In a good way. But
Well, yeah, in a good way.
like it's
Yeah,
something like I
right.
want to listen to like on a bus in Japan. Like I don't know, it's just something about
I
it.
knew he was gonna say that,
It's
bro.
something
Stop.
about
I
it.
was gonna say that. Okay,
No,
Miles, come on.
Okay, no more joking, but it is my favorite album of all time. The atmosphere of it's just genuinely incredible. Like he
Yep.
really does create this like nighttime city like vibe, and it's just like the raining sounds in some songs, and it's just I don't know. It's my
Yeah.
favorite album ever. I think it's probably got my favorite usage of sampling. Honestly, the way he chops up some like R&B songs on here, and
Yeah.
like I don't know how he does it. Like just get some garage drums out and we'll just chop up like a Ray J song to sound like fucking something you never heard before. Like I don't know. I'm gonna pass it on
Yeah.
now.
No. Yeah, I think I'm gonna pick it up and then I can leave it to Vaughn. Or you know what, Vaughn, I'll pass it to you. I'll pass it to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Little rebound.
Yeah, so I agree, It's as far as like atmosphere and ambiance, although DJ Sprinkles obviously is amazing, this is like the best crafted world and atmosphere of like probably any album I've ever heard. Like it's one of my favorite albums, and just the sound design and like it's just goddamn, like every time I listen to it I hear new things and new sounds, and it's like entering its own universe. And Burial's music, it all has the same atmosphere, but I think really Untrue is like the peak of it. Another thing is the drums has some of the best drums I've ever heard on an album. Obviously they're not real drums, they're programmed, but the swing is so unique, and it's so groovy still, but it's so like nothing you've ever heard. The sounds, I don't hear anyone else making drums that sound like that, at least not before Burial. And he took samples from like Metal Gear and like weird shit like that. And of course the vocal samples are from like some of them are from like YouTube covers of R&B songs, and like
It's
just
insane.
the atmosphere it creates with all these unique sounds. It's just so like it's such a one of a kind album, and it's just like nothing has come close to replicating the sound since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've tried to find shit like it because it's just mind blowing to me, but it's just nothing comes close.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you listen to things, it's all people trying to rip off Burial
Yeah.
sound.
You get
People
it. It's
who
pretty
make
obvious.
Future Garage. Yeah. And I think that this album is a colossal titan, not only in the world of garage, but also electronic music, period.
Yeah.
I think that, like, if I were to say, okay, here's the electronic album, it would probably be this, in all honesty. Even though I have others above it. Or,
I wouldn't
I don't know.
wouldn't agree with that, but it's definitely up there. Like
I guess the electronic album might be like a Daft Punk's Discovery. Look, here's the
yeah,
conversation.
that's
It's
That's what
either-
I'd say too.
It's either Discovery or Untrue. I think that's a fair
those
assumption.
are
It's
those are
either-
two of my favorites. I don't know if I can agree with that off the top of my head, but like I definitely see where you're coming from.
when I think of like here's two paths you can go down with electronic music, I think of an Untrue and I think of a disco.
Well, maybe
You know what
with
I'm
like
saying?
dance music, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
there are definitely like way more different
yeah.
paths.
No, I get that. It's just I think those two albums are the ones that I believe I would like. If someone were to be like, "Hey, Anthony, give me something to go into this world," I'll be
Okay,
like,
yeah.
"Okay, here are two." You know, but as it goes, I think Burial is an like proves his genius on this project, um, because of just absolutely how challenging it was for him to make this record in the sense that he used an extremely old DAW, like
Oh yeah,
practically like
yeah.
ancient. He makes this thing sound like like you found it in ruins and you're just listening to it for the first time. Like everything sounds so the way he uses noise on this project is just awesome. Everything sounds so scratchy I think Vaughn is absolutely correct. I think it has some of the like best atmosphere and world building an album can hold. Um, I just can't believe it's another one of those albums where you're just left speechless because it is beyond like almost human comprehension as to how crazy this album is, even though it has a song like in McDonald's, you know what I'm saying? But then you go from a song like etched head plate into in McDonald's, and it's just like oh
They're
my
so
goodness.
different, but it's still like the same feeling. Like, cause like
Yeah,
in
Yeah.
McDonald's is like one of the two ambient songs like that in UK, but it's like I don't know. It kind
There's
of
more
goes
than
from
that.
like, well, it's more like the straightforward ambient. I feel like more than like,
Okay.
but
yeah.
endorphins also
I
kind
think
of,
Yeah.
but
Endorphins.
yeah,
but like the way the vibe changes almost in a way. Like Shell of Light sounds almost more uplifting. I feel like, and then Dog Shelter, it's like you're walking in a rainy alleyway behind like a building. I don't know how to just. That's how I would describe it. I guess. Like
Yeah.
Shell of Light, it feels
yeah,
like you're like making it out of this dark city, and then like Dog Shelter pulls you right back in, and then it kind of is like that for the rest of the album with like Homeless, and then it ends on Raver, which I don't know. Every time like I listen to Raver, it makes me just want to re-listen to the whole thing again.
Ravers like I feel like you're in this city at 3 a.m. and then you stumble into like a dance club because
yeah.
like
You
that's like
find
the
you,
first like normal beat on the album, like four to
yeah,
the floor normal like and it's still got obviously the same atmosphere, but it's kind of like it's almost like the last song on Loveless for me, like where it just takes you out of the dream, but it's still like it still fits, but it's like taking you out of the dream and it's a perfect closer.
yeah. Or if anything, you entered into
Or you're entering the
where
new
yeah,
place, right?
yeah, because like it feels like you're walking through a dark, cold, rainy
Like
night.
it's like you're
Yeah,
waking up, like you're
hmm
waking up from the dream.
yeah.
That's what I
Because
meant to
in all
say.
honesty, like this is probably the coldest like sounding album I've ever
Oh,
heard. Like this
definitely.
album is like it's got me like
Very
shivering. You
frigid,
know what I'm
frigid
saying?
cold. Yeah.
Yeah, like frigid cold. It's just so awesome. Like every photo of Burial like matches like the vibe of this album in the way that like it sounds so like dusty. I don't
It's
know. It's
very
just this album
it's
is
frosty. It's
is
frosty.
insane. Yeah, and I absolutely love the cover.
Oh,
I feel
that's
like this
yeah.
cover don't get talked about enough.
That's
Oh, it's one of the
And
best,
it's
bro.
yeah.
yeah,
He's
One of
just
just
the
like
best.
drinking
everything
a.
about
It's
it.
just a dude drinking coffee. Like I don't know. It's just
It fits the vibe
Yeah,
so well. Like
no, it genuinely does. You know, it's just like finding comfort in like the coldness of it all. You know, it's
yeah. That's
like
a good way to put it.
yeah, no,
yeah,
it's just so good. Like it's genuinely like a masterpiece.
Oh yeah. I mean yeah.
And I can completely say that in full confidence.
yeah.
Um, it's just it's one of those albums that people like to describe as like unlocking a memory you never knew you had, you know. And I think that this album is something like it. Like it's like somewhere in the back of my head, I can imagine walking in that cold, dreary, rainy night. Yet I can't put
Also,
my finger as to where it is.
a lot of the samples sound very familiar. Like
Yeah,
maybe they're sampled from a song you've heard, maybe they're not, but they sound familiar and they sound like just like they sound familiar but also from another planet, and that's like what really makes this album special in a lot of ways is
yeah,
that feeling. And
Yeah. Really.
I was talking about the atmosphere a lot, but I just want to say the drums are like so also really like banging, dude. Like they're just like
yeah.
they're really
No,
like
It's
had
crazy
me
for how
grooving, bro. Like I
quiet.
didn't remember
Yeah.
when I was revisiting the album for this episode. I didn't remember just how fucking hard the drums were, bro. On some
Yeah,
songs, like
it's crazy.
And
it's
it's funny
really yeah.
because it's just like DJ Sprinkles were in like the everything other than the drums are like the much louder part of the album. But like when I listen with
Well,
my headphones, like the
I'd
bass
say
kicks
to a much
hard.
lesser degree with this album because the drums
Yeah,
are
of
just so
course.
like the sounds are so unique in the drums and the sound design and
Yeah.
like and the groove is just so I like what he does. If you try to recreate these drum patterns, it's so like mind blowing. It's just like nobody else programs their drums this way.
Cause like
Yeah, no, they feel so scattered. Like I
If-
feel like that's
yeah.
a good word. Like it feels scattered. Honestly.
it is, but it's
But
like
what were
so
you
at the
saying,
same
Miles?
time rhythmic. It's
It
crazy, like how
yeah, it feels like it's like just in the bounds, like almost out of bounds of the rhythm, but it's like just in there, and it feels like it's like really tight, but also
perfect.
really loose at the same time.
Yeah. And I mean, a great example of the drums is like Archangel. That is, I think, the song everyone takes
That's-
away.
yeah,
from it is
yeah, it's
Archangel.
Iconic.
Just an absolutely insane song, and the drums are just so hypnotizing.
Yeah, but I
Um,
also feel like on that song, like that's where like some of the drums are the lightest almost. Like they're not.
Really?
Yeah, like I mean, I know that they're
There
there.
are definitely songs with like deeper, harder drums.
Like Near
but-
Dark, like right after, like those drums are
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
like heavier and like. Yeah, and I don't
Yeah,
know the way that
darker.
ambient songs fit in here. It fits so well. I mean, it's kind of you can make garage fit with ambient pretty well, but like the way he does it, it's just like I don't know. Endorphin's almost like scary, like towards the middle. Like it's like
It's no, but it's also
Like-
beautiful.
like
it's
yeah,
so,
it's so
it's-
like I guess the scary part is like when it goes like bwomp, 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 you know what I mean?
yeah. And
But-
it feels
it's just
cinematic
like-
in that way too. There's so many
Yeah.
subtle changes, but the overall atmosphere is the same. So you just feel the changes even harder in your soul, and it just like feels like a moving thing, a progressing thing as you listen to the album.
It's just
No, it feels like the blissfulness of this album and the darkness feel like it just combines to create like gray matter. Like that's kind of how I feel almost. Like
It's like
we're just in that
purgatory.
gray area. Yeah, like because this album is so beautiful yet it's so dark at the same time
Mhm.
that it just blends so well together, and it's so beautiful. Oh my goodness. And I feel like how about this? Like
Oh my goodness.
Vaughn, what is one word you would use to describe this album? You have one word and one word only. What are you using? I have a word. I have a word.
I don't know, bro. Awesome.
You don't know?
Awesome.
Awesome. Miles, what about you?
I'd say
One word, a descriptor of this album.
perfect.
Like-
Perfect.
Y'all are
Cannot- I
lame,
can't,
bro.
bro.
Y'all
I
are
can't
lame.
think of just
Okay,
one-
wait.
Come on, bro.
I got a word. You want to hear my word?
Tokyo.
Tokyo. Okay.
Moody.
Come on. Moody. Okay. You want
You
to want to hear my word?
you
want-
did-
wanna
you
hear my
Yes, bro. Yes.
Yes.
word? Remnants. Remnants is
bro.
my word.
Okay, bro.
That is like the one word I think of when I think of this
Okay.
project.
I gotta look up.
What's
that.
your problem?
What's that
Good for you. Good for you.
Okay, whatever. But like nonetheless, Burial absolutely blew it out the park. And actually, another album that dropped, the Anti-Dawn EP
Great,
came out.
it's
I know they're
great.
not
Right.
similar.
It's great. I
We're not here to
revisited.
discuss it. We're not here
Oh,
to discuss
yeah.
it.
Miles
I'm
wasn't
allowed
too
to.
keen
I'm
on
allowed
it on
to.
first
I'm allowed to
listen, but,
discuss
you
it.
know. I
You're allowed
love that
to.
album too.
Check
I
out
just
the
wanted to
new.
shout that
Check
out.
out the new EP.
I
It's
mean,
great.
if we're talking about Burial, we gotta shout out an album that he dropped like,
That's
a week
true.
ago,
That
like,
is
come on.
that is fair.
Yeah.
He did just
and
drop it, but
he
actually,
leans
guys,
into the atmosphere even more on that album, and it's like really beautiful.
I
So sad.
actually haven't listened to it yet.
Well, you
I'm
should
gonna
check
lie.
it out. It's another like Bus in Tokyo type of vibe, like, but
Okay.
it's
Bus
I don't
in
know.
Tokyo.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I actually want to give a quick shout out. Technically, we were dealing with garage here, and another type of garage genre is UK garage. So I want to give a big
I mean,
shout
this
out
is
to
this is
Conductor,
like UK
Conductor.
garage.
that is true, but like there is a distinction. But hey, I just want to give a shout out to Todd Edwards, another
Yeah.
garage master.
Well, also
I can
Todd
stand beside
Edwards
Burial.
was an influence on Burial, so
That's
I'm
true,
just saying.
yeah.
That is true. Todd Edwards was a
Cited
influence on Burials.
Confirmed cited
Boom.
influence.
Also,
influence.
also speaking
If
of
you
Todd
like,
Edwards,
if you like, listen, if you like Untrue, if you like Burial,
go
when I
listen-
first heard Todd Edwards, it was like I listened to it and I was like, this is like Burial but happy.
Yes, that's the
This
perfect
Burial
way
but
to
If
Christian
describe
that
and
it.
sounds
happy.
good to you, check out Todd Edwards. I'm just saying.
Listen to
For
Premiere
real.
Edition. That's
Okay,
an, shout out.
don't say it.
Speaking of
Okay,
that,
don't.
speaking of that, This ties back to DJ Sprinkles. The same day I heard Midtown 120 Blues, I heard Todd Edwards for the first time playing Dishonored 2.
Wow.
Shout out.
What a stack.
Shout out Dishonored
Good for
2.
you.
Shout out Dishonored 2 as well. It's a great game. Fantastic game.
We're not promoting Dishonored 2.
Don't
No
care.
shouts out there. We're
Don't
not giving
care.
out shouts out. That's a Miles shouts out. But yeah,
Chair guy shouts out.
absolutely.
Thank you.
No.
Chair, what? He's
Okay,
shouting
fine.
out the
Chair-
podcast we're on.
Oh, shout out.
Chair guy shouts out Dishonored 2.
I don't even know. Okay. Let's any final thoughts before we get into our favorite tracks? Anyone got anything?
I guess my best listening experience was like when I was like downtown St. Louis, like walking around at night, like just listening to that shit. Like that was crazy. Like wow.
It's the vibe, bro. Yeah.
Yeah. That night hit the love. Like I don't know what it was, but something about it.
Wait, so are you telling me like at one point this wasn't your favorite album?
Yeah. I mean, it became my favorite album kind of like last year. Like I didn't really have like a set favorite album for a while. And then I kind of just listened to my favorites, and it was like, this just really stuck out. So, like...
Well, no, like, was there a point of time where you, like, didn't like this album?
Oh, no.
Like, you didn't
like
care
all
for it?
first listen, I loved it. Like, I still remember how I was when I first listened to it 2 years ago. Like, or almost 2 years ago.
Where were you? Do you know where you
I
were?
was at my grandparents' house in Oklahoma. I was playing Lego Star Wars on my computer.
You need to go to some more interesting places when you first listen to these albums.
I do, but...
You need to get better first listen locations, man.
Yeah, tap into some better first listen locations.
Speaking of a good first listen location, Die Lit. I was walking home from school. Like, that was crazy. But it's a mile walk.
That's not a good first
It's a
listen,
though.
mile walk because my bus is far away.
It's a maybe it's a good location. It's not a very unique location.
It was unique to
I'm just saying.
to me.
I couldn't agree for Dial-It, but hey, whatever.
I mean,
to each his own.
Right.
If there's a certain spot you love going to first listen to albums, you do you.
Safe in the Hands of Love was a unique first listen. I was in Los Santos in GTA because I was...
That doesn't count.
That's not
You're playing a
very
video
unique
game.
either, actually.
Yeah, that's
a lot of people do that, to be honest.
I first listened to an album in GTA. I first listened to a Future Garage album.
Okay, let's move it along here, guys.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's
Move
move
on
on to
here.
our favorite
I guess
tracks.
some
Leave it to
knuckleheads
Miles
getting
to get us
off.
sidetracked.
Knuckleheads getting us off track, but...
Okay, Miles, give us your favorite track so we can wrap this up.
Archangel, obviously. Pretty much every song. There's no songs that really stick out above the rest, really, to me. Even Archangel's still pretty close to everything else.
That's
I
understandable.
guess I'd say Etched
I agree.
Headplate and probably Dog Shelter, or maybe Shell of Light. I don't know. I don't have a set
Mhm.
3, but
Okay, Vaughn,
Okay.
give me your top 3.
Yeah, my top 3 changes a lot, but
That's understandable.
for now, title track, Endorphin, and probably Raver.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Actually, my top 3 is Untrue. Oh,
Yes.
I'm sorry. Archangel,
Fuck you.
then Untrue,
Yes.
then Etched Headplate. That's my
Okay.
top 3. Etched Headplate is a crazy song.
Endorphin actually
But,
might be in my top 3 as well. Just wanted to say.
No, you can't change it. Once you
can't
lock
change
it in, it's done.
locked
You
in.
can't change it.
For life.
Untitled,
Locked in.
Untitled though. That's kind of
Untitled.
crazy.
Why? It's like the shortest song, right?
Yeah,
Time,
it's the intro.
quality over quantity.
You're
the quantity
trolling, bro. Okay. Anyways, that's
I had a
I
great
think that's
time.
actually it. Wow, this is actually going to be one of our shortest episodes.
I had a great time. Shout out, watch every Chair Guys podcast episode.
I'm so glad you had a great time.
Listen
man.
to the Heart of the Congos. Shout out the Congos.
Do not listen to that. Do not listen to that.
No. Why are you
Do
doing
not
our
listen to that,
outro
bro.
for us? Why are you doing our...
Do not
Dude,
listen to
this is
that,
a
bro.
fraudulent episode. Oh my days. Okay. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for coming out to the Chair Guys podcast. We want to give a huge shout out to Todd Edwards. We love you, bro. Keep doing what you're doing. Vaughn,
Yes.
Vaughn, any shouts out you want to make to anyone?
Shouts out Miles' mom.
Shouts out Miles' mom.
Shouts out.
She's a very nice woman.
Shouts
She
out
created
Amazon.
a beautiful human.
Shouts
I'm
out
just
to
saying.
Amazon.
No, we're not shouting out Amazon. We're not shouting out.
Shout out
Shouts
to
out Jeff
shout out to Abe
Bezos.
Lincoln. Shout out to Abe Lincoln.
Partial shouts out. Partial shouts out.
Shouts out to Andrew Jackson.
No.
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 He owns slaves.
So did Abe Lincoln, bro.
He freed them. That's why I said partial.
Yeah, but
He's
He's
still,
still, like-
He kind
not
of
in
did
the
it.
clear.
Whatever.
He's not in the clear.
Whatever. That's true. But that's all we're gonna have for you, ladies and gentlemen, this week. I've been Anthony, and I'm here alongside with Vaughn and our special guest Miles, and we thank you so much for watching the
I love
Cherry
you all.
podcast. Love you all. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week.
Shouts
Goodbye.
out water.
Peace out.